Trades. Guys, we spoke about how important this week's going to be in setting up your final team. And there's plenty to talk about in this one. Making 3 trades in the People's Squad, 1 trade in the head-to-head team, and 2 in my team there. So it leaves us with 4 trades across the first 2 and 3 in mine. And then waiting for those 4 to come in a couple of weeks. So on the People Squad side of things, there's a few trades that were made this week and a few interesting ones, even for myself. I wasn't too sure about the selections, if I'm being honest, which is a little bit controversial, given that I'm obviously a big part of this. But we've decided to move on from Cam McInnes. And the reason it was Cam, it was either him or Dylan Brown, and the selection was just in favor of Cam. We just didn't have enough money to do the 2 upgrades that we wanted. So the players coming into our team this week are DCE, Cook, and then Matamua, which is very interesting. That one was as well, just for the fact that gives us 4 cash outs. And it's something I've spoken about that's not ideal. But, and there's always a but, what we can do, given that we've got 4 trades after this week and the 4 to come, so there'll be 8 in total for 8 rounds, basically. So what we're looking at there then is we can do, if there are injuries, there are suspensions, we could do a trade each and every week to cover that position if we happen to have 2 injuries, right? 1 injury, we might have someone that's a 400k or a 300k guy that we could plug in for a 30 or 40. If we have 2 injuries, we could definitely cover that straight up. Majority of them are going to be a 1 to 2 week kind of thing, whether it's suspension, whether it's a small ankle injury, something like that, right? That's the theory there. It obviously gives us a chance to pick up a Cook and a DCE, which sets our team up really, really nicely in terms of guns. But it does mean we have that extra cash out, 4 of them to be exact. And Volkman's going to be someone that will be back in the team. You look at guys like Matamua, he might start each and every week. So that's something. We've got Palacia, who should be in the team each and every week, and David Mwale, who won't play from here on in. So very, very interesting, very contentious, a lot going on there. But they're the 3 trades. And the trade outs this week were Taylor May, we had Cam McInnes, and also Reedy Marnie. So we're trading out a fringe keeper in the, probably the 5th best hooker, for example, in Reed. We've got a cover guy in Taylor May, and then trading out McInnes, who I think is a keeper as well, which is very interesting. Again, that's just my general thoughts. I personally would be holding on to McInnes, but it's the way that this squad wanted to go. And obviously here, we're looking for an extra 15 to 20 points from guys like DC and Cook in their position. And the People Squad and everyone involved believes that other guys can make up for that. So that's the theory this week. And if you look at the team, we're playing a couple of those cheap guys. Matamua is going to be in the team. We will try and loop Mr. Xavier Savage, for example, or one of those guys. We have only 18 available, so we can loop easily in this one, which is sweet. So just getting the best 18. So we'll loop Savage, Matamua, Palacia, however I decide to play that one. Obviously, we're pretty well set up in the outside backs, in the centers, and the wing fullbacks. Edge is pretty strong overall when you got guys like Elliott, Crichton, Jackson, Tohu. I say Papali'i, for example, there, which means that the mids is pretty set. We're set in the halves with Cleary, DCE, and Hines, and Hines can move down to wing fullback as well. So overall now, in a great position. We're just probably missing that extra 17th gun, which the teams in the top 300, 200, if we had been performing a bit better over the last bunch of weeks, we'd be in a slightly better position. But that is the People Squad right now. Hope that helps you guys with your general thoughts on if you are going that extra cash out. As to, you're just treading water a little bit in terms of you're going to have to tread on eggshells a little bit each and every week, just hoping that there's no injuries and suspensions that are going to kill you. Okay, head-to-head. Decided to make the 1 trade. I'm actually really happy with how the team's looking. We don't have Cleary this week, which helps us. But, we don't have him in our squad already. But trading Adam Reynolds for Cam Munster, I feel like we have enough trades to be able to make that one. With Reynolds not playing as well, could have gone for DCE, but I decided to go against the grain a little bit, which I always have in this head-to-head team, which has served me pretty well. Obviously, it was ranked 21 at one point, but 174 now. Leaves 327 in the bank for Cleary next week, and that will give us 3 gun halves, with Hughesy being that sort of 3rd option there. I think it's pretty solid. Having Munster, he's a bit more of a pod than what DCE is going to be, and that's completely fine. I'm pretty lucky this week that we've got Kurt Falls, who gets another crack and hopefully a 40 plus from him. But again, we can have a loop with either Kola or Fatala Mariner. If there's a late out with a Teddy or something like that, we could have an 18th man, which is going to be completely fine there. We're looking for an improved game from someone like Tyson Frizzell. The mids are looking pretty solid. We're going to play Hosking this week. Not sure if we're going to play Kola, Ezra Mam, or Fatala. I feel like Cola's a pretty solid one this week with them playing Newcastle, for example. But yeah, team's looking pretty solid. Outside backs are good. We're missing, maybe like an Aitken or something like that in the centre position. But generally, May's going to be pretty solid against the Tigers, for example, even in a slightly depleted side. Halves there. We're just missing Cleary, which he'll come into the squad next week. Happy with the hooking position. We'll look for someone like Cotter eventually. We've got Crichton in there on the interchange, which is completely fine as well. And we have the To'o on the bench as well, who's not playing this week. So once we get him back, we'll be much even stronger than we were before. So that's my head-to-head squad, looking pretty good. And matchups, I think we're pretty good for matchups this week based on that team that I'm putting out there. In my team, we make 2 trades. I'm really happy with the 2 that I've made, and it's Penasini coming out, and also Taylor May. He's going to go as well, finally. And we're going to get Cook and Teddy. So really 2 upgrades from guys that are mid-rangers to then 2 guns. And I think that's really important this week, is to use that. I did have a 670k. So using that extra cash to trade out 2 middies, be really careful with the trades that I'm using, and bring in 2 guns. So Cook becomes captain this week. It looks like should be fine to back up. Heinze is vice. Teddy, obviously I'm going to wait for some late mail. Hopefully if we find out anything before tonight. But they've got a really must-win clash against them and Dragons being in sort of 9th and 10th there. Super important for them. I think Manu and Teddy together now from here on to the rest of the season is going to be a pretty important one. I did think about getting Latrell, and if I was to try and get Latrell, I'd have to move on from like a semi just below tier gun. I'd be looking at someone like DCE, but currently having Cleary, Hughes and Brown, I feel like I'd have to trade one of them, and I don't feel comfortable doing that yet. So that's where the team's at. And then looking at potentially looping someone like an Ezra Mam, Savage, I think would be the 2 that I'd be looking at for Cleary there this week. And just keeping Reedy, I'm keeping him for some cover in that hooking position, just in case Cook doesn't play or something like that. That's probably the only worry. If you're trading in Cook and he unfortunately doesn't back up, something happens, he gets COVID, whatever it is, that you have someone that's going to be able to cover that position until that someone like Cotter comes along and you can bring him in. Playing Hosking and Palacia, both going to get big minutes again. Hosking the 80, Palacia probably a 50 or 60 again, and just see what happens from there. But happy with the centre pairing. I really think Cole is going to score well this week up against the Knights. I think that the Manly boys need to come out with a good win. And, Tamalolo would be nice for him to come out with a big one. Very happy that I have Cook now and just missing Cleary now. The team's coming together a lot better. I think we can get close to finishing in the top 1,000 with those extra trades remaining that a lot of teams don't have. We'll have 7 in a couple of weeks. The bench is looking really good. Reedy, Elliott, Crichton and Harris. Happy with the setup. And we should be doing well this week. So they're the trades for the week, guys. Subscribe, get around it, like this video. I appreciate you all being here a lot. And we'll catch you in those Friday night review videos. The Saturday ones there might be a little bit delayed. I'm away again this weekend, so having some fun. But thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. And we'll catch you in the next one. See you later.